Hello, this is William Bowman, and I'm recording this video for Nick and Mr. Burns over at B&B Tree Trimming. So thank you so much for allowing me to record this video for you. I'm going to try and make it quick and give you some good information here. So I want to explain what I found on your website and what you can change in order to get better results digitally. In order to do that, I need to explain a couple things. That way you're going to have an understanding of how to implement those changes and be able to tell when the changes are actually working. Because, honestly, we're after results here, right? So I'm going to be covering the volume of clients looking for your services in your specific area, what your top online competitor is doing to win that volume currently, and things that you can do this exact moment on your site to start winning those clients in the future. So I'm just going to reload your site here. It looks like the picture stopped showing up here. Okay, there we go. So now that I'm looking through your site here, I noticed that you have multiple pages, which is good, with information regarding your different services. You have the contact number. Now, I would mention here that it is important for you to have for any page that you're trying to rank, right? So if you're trying to rank, let's say, the services page, you want to have anywhere between 1,000 to 1,500 words of content on that specific page. And there's a specific reason for that. So the reasoning is because you need to include what are called keywords in there. So keywords are simply just words that you would throw into Google in order to find a specific service. So for Tree Services San Antonio, this is what you're going to see. So first off, you're going to see ads at the top. I'm glad to see that you guys aren't paying for these ads. Unfortunately, a lot of people will just skip straight past the ads. Then they will go down to the Google Map pack. So some people do actually stop here and they do check the area for their specific company, one that's within a certain vicinity of their home. Now, I will indicate that if you don't have this Google Map pack set up, it is a very good source of volume. So definitely go to GMB or Google My Business and fill out the form there for, your name of your company and so on and so forth. That way you can get this set up with a link to your website. That also helps for ranking. And it can be optimized to make sure that you are in the top 3 for a specific geographic area. But I want to get into the organic search area. So this is where you cannot pay to be up here. You have to basically know how to structure your site based off of keywords in order to be in the results. And if we're going to go into this top competitor, right? So San Antonio Tree Surgeons. So I have their website pulled up and we're going to see, they do have some content here on the front page that they're ranking for. I would imagine that they're probably sitting at about, 700-800 words. So they still aren't at the exact amount, but let's see what they're doing right, because they're getting on average about 588 people coming to their site on a monthly basis. So they are doing something right. So let's look into their numbers and kind of, make sense of this. So afterwards, I'm also going to look at your website underneath the hood so you can get a comparison. So we have the UR and the DR. So a UR is the URL rating. It's from 0 to 100, and the higher the score, the better. So a URL rating is kind of like your trustworthiness of your site. A 31 is pretty typical for being in the first place for a city like San Antonio. I have seen them up to 35, 40, but 31 is a decent score. Now this DR, that's a domain rating. That's like the reputation of the power of your website, and that is the higher the better as well from a 0 to 100. So it is kind of surprising that the number 1 ranked company for this search result only has a 2.9 DR. That's pretty easy to beat. But let's look at these two numbers in unison, like together, do determine, you can utilize them to determine where your ranking is going to sit. So you need to beat the competitors on both of these areas. And you do that through a number of different methods, but one that is pretty strong is called backlinks. Now, backlinks are simply just, if I were to write a blog and say, B&B Trimming is the best tree trimming service in the area, go ahead and go use them, and I put a link to your site, that's an example of a backlink. So it looks like they have 65 different websites, sending them a total of 907 backlinks. I don't want you to stress on number, quality over quantity here. I have seen, 20, 30 good quality backlinks beat 1,000. It's not, it's all about the quality of the backlinks being made. And I'll get into that a little bit later here. So I'm going to look into organic keywords and see what they're actually ranking for to get this volume. And when we come in here, we're going to see tree services San Antonio. So that's the amount of volume on average that people search for this exact keyword. And if you notice, tree trimming San Antonio, Texas is one. And if you probably later on down, you will see that tree trimming San Antonio without the Texas is one. And you can take these volumes and you can start adding them up and seeing that, hey, they're position 1 for this, so they're going to get the lion's share. Position 1, they're going to get the lion's share. I would focus on words like this: arborist San Antonio, tree services San Antonio. I would stay away from words, ranking for words like tree service removal. It's 100 people, but they could be anywhere in the United States or anywhere, basically. So you could get somebody in Illinois that can't be serviced by you searching this, and it won't give you any business unless if you have a location there. So I try and focus on buyer intent keywords is what we call them, basically for an area that you're doing business in for the service you want to provide, and targeting the ones that have a high volume so that you guys can compete for those high volumes and get results. But let's look at your site. Now, when we come in, we see a UR of 19, a DR of 0. So the UR is growing. Looks like you have about 44 backlinks. I would recommend, in order to get this DR up, that the thing that you do is focus on more quality backlinks. You want backlinks that have that you see this no follow here. This means that whenever the link was created, there's an HTML coding on the tag that says no follow at the end of it. And that basically means that this site, that has a DR of 87 and a UR of 15, they might share some of the UR with you, but they are not going to share any of this domain rating, that power, with you. And you want that power in order to increase your DR. So definitely focus on getting more quality backlinks that have a high DR, and not so much the ones that are just doing no follows to raise your UR, because you need both of these to raise in unison. And when they get out of whack, there's a ratio that you should be trying to follow to make sure that they're both raising at a certain speed together, because then it gets harder to raise one over the other. But then I want to look at the keywords that you guys are ranking for. And we start looking through here. Some of them looks like you're number 9. So you are going to be on the front page for B&B tree service, which is, that's you. So that's good. But I think it's a shame whenever we see, 19 for such a high volume, or when we see, 20 for 100, 22 for 200. It means that you guys are, you're ranking for certain words. You're just not in the front page. And there's an ongoing joke in our industry, you can hide a dead body on the second page of Google. So it is really important to get onto that front page in order to actually see results. And it looks like you guys are getting some results, but you're not really getting that lion's share of traffic. And it looks like recently there was a big change in your results. So I do want to, the 3 things that I would recommend is quality backlinks. Definitely start increasing the quality amount of backlinks. And then I would also recommend, if you don't have your GMB, definitely do that, because that will increase your volume. And the last, and this is pretty easy, this not secure thing here, you just have to go and get your SSL certificate so that you can get this secure. That can actually impact your ranking, and it also can scare away customers, right? Because if you click on a not secure site from a Google search, it will usually give you a pop-up box that says, hey, the website you're going to isn't secure. I'm sure you might have seen that while searching the web. That will scare off some customers, because this SSL certificate basically says that you are sending and receiving encrypted messages. This is saying that it's not secure and you're not sending and receiving encrypted messages. And if you just Google SSL certificate, it's very easy to set up. But I hope this information was useful to you, and I hope you're able to utilize it to start seeing some results. If you could provide me some feedback, I would greatly appreciate it, just telling me, the value of, whether or not this was information that you can utilize and whether or not it was valuable to you. But thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a great day.